Raised 3 kids on the 2 acres here and lots of room to pick fruit and run and grow and do things. We might have sprayed a little bit early on, but we don't anymore. This is quite a rare tree for Florida. This is everybody's favorite fruit and they don't even know it. This is where chocolate comes from. This is cacao.
How many different varieties of bananas do you have?
I used to have 16. I think I've got probably something like 10 or 12 now.
Well, how old is this tree?
Oh, it's quite old. It's 30 years, more than 30 years old.
Now, Julie's considered a dwarf tree. Have you ever trimmed this back at all?
No. The more Anonas you have, the less need for hand pollination. We took about 10 to 12, 13 different seedlings of custard apple, planted them all out to see if we could get one
reticulata
that would be superior to the others. And we did. Number 7 was the one that was the best.
Hello everybody, welcome to Fruitful Trees. I am so excited today. This is Ira and Paula. Paula's a master gardener and Ira has been growing fruit trees for such a long time and he has so much information to share, so we're going to meet them today and look around their house and look in their yard and see all the trees they have. This is a real special episode to get them on here because they've been growing fruit trees for a long... How many years have you been growing fruit trees?
More than 4 decades.
More than 4 decades. So get ready for an exciting one, and here we go. Hello, everybody. Here we are with Ira and Paula, and we're looking at Ira's house today, and Paula is a master gardener, so we'll be talking to her as well. They're going to show us around this property. Thank you both for inviting me out to your house.
You're very welcome.
Okay, so we'll start with you, Ira. You were... president of one of the Rare Fruit...
Palm Beach County Rare Fruit Council. I was on the board of directors for 7 years.
For 7 years?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And president the 7th year. Yeah.
And we're going to take a look at your property today. So, when you were growing up, were you into growing fruit trees?
My mother was a fruit grower on Singer Island.
Okay.
Way back.
Is that what got you excited about it?
Eventually, yeah, that got me excited. She grew the things that you could grow on Singer Island, which is not as much, but it was a very tropical situation, and she could grow mangoes and bananas and stuff like that, you know. So I got started doing that. I bought her one of her mango trees way back in the 50s, and so I never really lost the interest, you know. And when I met Paula back in '77, she was also interested in growing things and vegetable gardening and stuff, so it just kind of naturally clicked, you know.
Sure.
Raised 3 kids on the 2 acres here and lots of room to pick fruit and run and grow and do things, and so it's the growing tropical fruit trees was a good thing.
Are your children, do they grow fruit trees as well?
They all do, yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. And they live locally or out of town?
Well, they're in... 2 of my kids the twins are in Charlotte, North Carolina, so they grow more temperate zone things. And my son, Zach, he grows things over in Jensen Beach, so he's still into the tropical stuff too.
Wonderful, wonderful. And Paula, what got you into gardening?
Having a mother that always had a vegetable garden and grew fruit trees, and like Ira, just, you know, associating with that type of thing growing up, and you start trying to grow things yourself. But the fact that we married and had a life together, I think we developed even more of an interest and had children. You wanted to raise your family in an environment where they would, you know, enjoy eating fruits and vegetables growing up and being around that. So.
Sure. And you say you're a master gardener. We interviewed your neighbor Ruth recently, and she's a master gardener. What does that actually mean, and what part of Master Gardener Club?
Well, it's through the University of Florida Cooperative Extension, and it's a volunteer organization and you take classes and you become, you know, kind of certified to be a Master Gardener volunteer, which, you know, you learn what you've learned, then you share with the public.
Wonderful. I'll put a link to that below the video so everyone can learn more about that.
Maybe a link to the community garden in Indiantown.
Oh, maybe.
Yes, we'll put all those links below, whatever you would like. So we're excited to see you've been growing trees for how many years? Ira?
I would say 43, 44 years.
43, 44 years. What's your favorite fruit?
The Mamey Sapote.
Mamey Sapote.
Which you will see.
Wonderful. Okay, 2 acres. We're going to get started. We're going to do this. Let's go. All right,
Okay.
So you're going to show us around your property here.
We'll start with the mango trees.
This
is an Edward mango. This one is a Glen.
Okay.
They were pruned back, excuse me, they were pruned back considerably this year. So they were quite a bit larger, but they are still blooming a little bit and coming back. So.
All right, so I have questions, Ira. So you have an Edward and a Glen. And how old are these trees? Pretty old?
The Glen is about probably close to 35 years old, 37 years old, and the Edward is probably 25 years.
And you pruned them back recently, you said?
Recently, yeah, because they were getting too big.
Okay, but they're still pretty big.
Yeah.
Now, how far apart are these trees, do you know?
No, I would say 20 feet.
So what if, from your experience, if a person has the room, what's the ideal length to plant trees distance-wise?
Well, it depends. If you're just a homeowner, you can plant them in any distance apart you want to suit your landscape. But if you're going to grow them in a grove, then I would say 20 feet, about like this, to 25 feet, no more.
So for growing in a home garden, what's the ideal to get the most mangoes distance-wise? Does it matter?
I don't think so. Mangoes, you'd have to ask someone who probably knows a little more about it than I do, but mangoes have their good years and bad years. They're generally considered shy bearers. But it probably helps to have more than one mango. I mean, if you have 2 or 3 or 4, it probably will help with the pollination in the fruit set.
Okay, so this was a Glen, and what was that?
That is an Edward.
Edward. And
These are old Florida mangoes. These
Old
are not
Florida
some of the new ones.
Yes. All right. And do you water your trees?
Not anymore, no.
So you used to water them when you first put them in?
Yeah, but when they get to be enormous, then it's not quite as important to water them. You can fertilize them. Fertilizing is still reasonably important 3 times a year.
Even at this size?
Right. It's a good idea to fertilize around them. And they should be in mid-February, late June, and November. November, if you're going to fertilize, make it just a minimal type fertilizer. And about 1 pound of fertilizer per inch of trunk diameter.
And what about spraying? Do you spray your trees?
No.
Okay, over the years, did you spray your trees?
We might have sprayed a little bit early on, but we don't anymore.
Do you see a benefit of spraying mango trees?
I don't know. When they're small in containers and there's lots of them in one area, then it's probably a good idea to spray them to keep, because bugs can and the bacteria can move quickly through a close set bunch of trees like that. But when they're open and big like this, I think it's probably a minimal need to spray them.
Over the years you've been doing this, do you see there's more diseases affecting mango trees now than before, or has it always been the same in your opinion?
Well, you'd have to ask a professional nurseryman about that, but I would say I haven't noticed too much. Have you, Paula?
I just think this landscape has changed a lot in the last 40 years that we've been here. This used to be a pine flatwoods, and so we were planting trees in among the large pines, but they were all mostly lost in the storms. We had the direct hits of hurricanes. So now, it's more open. We have more open areas. So we may have initially had some issues because we were competing with the existing landscape. And so there's so many variables that it would be difficult to...
And one good idea would be to find your mangoes that are the most resistant to anthracnose. And
that's what we did with the Glen. The Glen is a Martin County mango, and
when
we
you pick them, you think about that when you're going to pick which mangoes you want.
Right.
It's resistant to anthracnose. It's known to be the Glen, so that's why we chose it years ago.
Good choice.
Some of the other ones could get anthracnose, but this guy won't pick them up.
There you go. And all your mangoes that you've picked, you've selected them keeping that in mind?
Sort of, yeah.
What about powdery mildew and also like bacterial black spot in these?
Right.
Same thing. You try to get the ones that are resistant.
Try to get the ones that are most resistant, but then when they're young, it's most important to treat them if you see it. I think when they get older, it's probably not as important, although you'd have to ask a mango specialist. We're not mango specialists.
All right. Well, I'm excited to see what else you have. This is so exciting. I already identify a couple of things here.
Yeah, this is a black sapote.
Yes, I'm so excited to hear about that. So what variety of black sapote is this?
Well, my old friend from the Rare Fruit Council, Henry Orth, it was his called the black sapote, the Orth black sapote. And this tree is about 30 years old.
I think it's older than that.
Could be a little older. And it has an enormous fruit. Very few seeds.
And is it a sweeter variety or for black sapote?
I haven't seen too many black sapotes that are that different. You know, they're all pretty much
similar.
The size of it is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, it's an enormous softball-sized fruit.
How difficult or easy are black sapotes to graft? I mean, top work. Do you know?
No, they're not hard.
They're not hard. Great.
They're not difficult.
Yeah, and black sapote. Wow, this is just great. So, are they self-pollinating the black sapote trees?
Yeah, they are.
That's wonderful. And I see the length of so you must cut this back, Chris.
Oh yeah, it has been cut back last year, just as the glen here was too.
See, originally when we planted some of these trees, we were more concerned about cold. It was in the 80s and you were having freezes. So it was recommended back then to plant them fairly close to the house.
Break the wind.
Well, and also for, it's just a little bit warmer closer to the house. So it's different now.
Yeah, with climate change, we're in a situation where it just doesn't get as cold anymore. I will show you shortly a tree that would have been dead quite early, but now is fruiting.
And a good number of the trees that we have grown, they may have succumbed. We may have enjoyed them for a few years, and then they succumb to the cold, and then the hurricanes. So we've had a lot of different trees growing on this property and enjoyed them, but some have made it, and some, Well,
you'd like to see this next tree that we're going to.
What do you think is the cold hardiness of the black sapote?
Well, it's pretty cold hardy, actually.
Yes.
It can
Once it's established.
take mid-20s for a little while.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. And now, with the different varieties of black sapote, do you think it? I know with the different varieties, do you think it extends the season? Is the season always the same on all the varieties, or that you don't know?
I'm not sure about that.
With climate change, I think that's changing. I don't think there's anything that can be predicted anymore, or not predicted with.
Certainty, yeah.
Did your black sapote season just end?
It's just in now.
It's ended, yes. It's just ended.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it just ended and it's going to be flowering pretty soon.
Wonderful. Okay.
Now, this is one of my favorite trees here.
And this made it through a hurricane. There was a pine tree that went right down the center of it. And
come over here and look from right here, and you'll see our Jaboticaba in full bloom.
Wow. Wow. Look at that. What kind is this?
Sabara.
Sabara. That's the black one, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And it has a wonderful taste. Paula makes preserves and jelly out of it. It makes a wonderful jelly. Also makes pretty good wine if you've got enough.
How often do you prune this back?
We don't. This tree is 35 years old and has never been pruned.
Wow.
It was being crowded out by a fruit tree that we cut down that never fruited for us. So you can see the stump here of this.
What was that tree?
It was a Garcinia. It was one of these experimental things, and we have experimental fruits here. We grow trees. If they fruit and they do well, if there's a problem with them of some kind, we have to end up cutting them down. But our Jaboticaba is one of our favorites, and now that this tree is gone, she can come at us from all sides.
How often a year does this fruit? Is it 4
or 5 times?
4 or 5 times a year.
It's a fruit from the Amazon. It grows very low in the banks of the Amazon and the Jari River.
If we have a good rain, then it often will.
It's one of those trees that likes wet feet. It likes to be flooded at certain times of the year, and then there's a dry period. But if it rains consistently, especially in the summer months when it's very, very wet, it does its best.
Do you ever prune back any of the, like, are all those one tree or those seeds?
It's all one tree.
All one tree.
Mm-hmm.
So do you ever prune it to thin it out or cut branches in the middle? You
Well,
don't
yes.
touch it?
Once in a while they do what you call lace it, which means cut the ones that are coming in too close to each other.
Okay.
So you want to keep it so that they're sort of not hitting each other, but sort of away from each other.
Okay.
Which I do once in a great while.
Okay.
That's a Canistell.
This is a Canistell.
What variety is that? Do you know?
This is a seedling, actually.
Oh, seedling Canistell.
It's a nice big Canistell and it's delicious.
The fruit is like pumpkins. It's like a pumpkin. Now, there's a great big one up there if you look.
You can probably see it better.
This is the end of the season, but there it is. You see it?
They come around this way.
That's a smaller one.
Here, no, this one right here.
This
Uh-huh.
the specimen tree right here. It's above everything else.
Where are we looking?
It's a Mamey Sapote.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Mamey. Oh, so
But why don't you? Well, these are fairly close relatives. The Canistell and the Mamey are closely. They're both sapotaceous fruits,
Okay.
sapotes.
that's the biggest Mamey tree I've ever seen.
It's probably
Right. And I grew it from seed.
Some seed. Wow. How old is that?
It's, I would say, what, 30 years old, Paula?
Yeah, one of the early Taste of the Tropics, which, you know, the Master Gardener, Taste of the Tropics, was like maybe 35 years ago.
Yeah,
He
long
took a
time
seed
ago.
from a display, one fruit, and decided to try to sprout it. And the people at the Rare Fruit Council were saying it's too cold to grow a Mamey. But
Now, if you come over here,
Now with Mamey, they say you got to scratch them to know when to pick them. How do you scratch them that high up?
yeah,
these squirrels do it for us.
we have trained squirrels here, and if well, we keep a gun on them, so if they get out of hand, they're in trouble.
So wait, so that's the Mamey. Do you ever trim it?
No. We did trim it once. It was coming out this way, way over this way, and it was overshadowing. This is a Bailey's Marvel Mango.
Wow.
Another one
how
from the
big
Rare
that
Fruit
is.
Council. And but my Mamey it's a seedling tree, and everybody thinks it's the best one they ever tasted. So
It's pretty.
Now, it's really high. From a hurricane standpoint, is it better, do you think, to keep the tree smaller, or some trees are so strong they don't
Absolutely.
matter?
yeah, it is definitely better to keep it low. And but you have to remember one thing: it's a very strongly rooted tree, and it is a Caribbean tree, so it's used to high winds. It's not going to come down easy. But if it's a force 5, we'll probably lose the house and everything else. So
Sure.
it's, you know.
Sure.
But the Mamey is my baby. You know, if I want good feelings, I come out and just have a good look at it.
So
know?
you can plant other things pretty close because the Mamey is so high, it's not going to block the sun if you plant other things around
Right,
it.
except the bananas that keep trying to get past it, behind it.
Well, there are carambolas in between the bananas, and we have a lot of carambolas growing in there, and they
Wow.
really produce without any difficulty.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a Kent mango.
All right, Ira, so we're going to look at the Kent mango here.
Yeah. This is the first mango I got my mother back in 1959 or something like that. It's an old school mango, but a really good one.
Do you have any problems with bacterial black spot up this way?
Yes.
Does it affect this variety?
Yes,
here?
it does.
It does.
It's an old mango. It's an old variety, and it does get anthracnose and black spot very easily. But even though the fruit could turn black and ripen, it's still very good. And some people will even tell you that the ones that have the most black on the skin are the sweetest. So, you know, there is a trade-off.
Would it be a benefit to spray a tree like this if somebody had it?
Probably. If you're concerned about it, yes, that might be a good idea.
Okay, and it looks like you top worked it recently. I'll cut it at least and trimmed it.
We did a lot of this last year. Otherwise, all the trees you're looking at would have been a lot bigger.
Come
Okay.
this way.
There's a Bailey's marble. All right.
Uh-huh. We got to get that fruit today, Paula. See it?
Yeah.
Right here. I don't want it to fall. Over here. Come over here.
What you looking at?
Big bright yellow fruit right there.
Oh, Canistell.
Yeah, we got to get it. And the Mamey will be ripening pretty soon, the fruits. So I come out here every day and walk around a little bit to see what's hit the ground.
Oh, so that's, you don't pick them with a pole, you wait till they hit the ground?
The lower ones we pick with a fruit picker.
Okay.
But the higher ones, well, I don't know anybody that would risk their life to get a single fruit, but it could be. This is a Anona. As you'll see later, we have a lot of Anonas, a lot of different types of Anonas. This is a llama, Anona diversifolia.
How does that fruit?
It's quite good. It's sweet and custardy-like. Melts in your mouth. A lot of seeds. We'll show you some of the other Anonas as we go along. They're from different parts of the world. This is quite a rare tree for Florida. This is everybody's favorite fruit, and they don't even know it. It's where chocolate comes from. This is cacao, you see?
Yeah. Now, traditionally, it has to be much warmer to grow cacao, and no.
Generally speaking, you can't be below 40 degrees.
In the 1980s, we tried to do it foolishly, and it didn't. And then we tried again recently, and
even now, as warm as it is in Florida, you still have...
That's damage from the cold.
That's cold damage.
Uh-huh.
But inside, close to the tree, the trunk, they're doing pretty well.
Nice.
And in here, you can see as well.
All right, you got cacao.
Yeah. Up here is
Oh,
carambola.
look at that carambola star fruit. Wow.
That's a seedling of a fwang tongue, and the fwang tongue is on the other side of it.
Beautiful.
The end of it makes a very, very large fruit. The fwang tongue does, and this seedling is a nice fruit too.
Are they all self-pollinating this star fruit?
Yes.
You only have one?
Yes.
Okay.
You want to say anything about
Which one?
Here, these?
These things?
Yeah.
No, these are just seedlings I'm watching.
Miracle fruit. This miracle fruit is probably 35 years old.
Wow. Say that again.
This is a miracle fruit, and it's probably 35 years old at least.
Wow.
Maybe.
It's in the ground?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
It's an understory. Likes it in this area.
Now, some people say that the miracle fruit should be grown in a pot, but mine do great in the ground. How does this one do?
No, that's fine. It's been in the ground for...
Because it's just tucked in under the canopy.
It's an understory tree, basically. The same as cacao is understory.
Uh-huh.
They don't like full sun. They like some sun, but not a whole lot. So you can see how well he's doing with these big trees overshadowing him.
Beautiful.
And it will fruit 4, 5, 6 times a year. Just continually putting on, see all the bloom right now. It's getting bloomy. And
It tried, and I think it got a little cold, but it'll flush again.
It's excellent. All right.
the sugar industry's most hated fruit. You get the sweetness without the sugar. Basically what miracle fruit does is it blocks the tart sensors of the tongue. So when you bite one and you kind of just rub it around in your mouth, it blocks all the tart sensors for about 20 minutes. So everything you eat, lemon, whatever, will be lemonade.
We have passion vine over this trellis in the summer. Want to tell them about that? Passion fruit?
Yeah, well, it's there's many different types of passiflora. There is the purple Passiflora edulis, and there's Edulis flavicarpa, which is the yellow passion fruit. Then there's a banana passion fruit, and there's the water leaf, and then there's all these different types of. But the one that the beginners would want to grow would be purple or yellow. Passiflora edulis or Edulis flavicarpa. That's the one where you get the nicest juice, and it's very, very good for you. Very, very good for the digestive tract. My granddaughters we cut them and they walk around licking them,
Yeah.
Can you come this way? Monstera deliciosa.
Yeah.
We have a lot of that throughout, and they all climb the pine trees, what's left of the pine trees.
They have an elongated fruit that looks just like a green ear of corn. And when it's ripe, the corn kernels fall off and it's snow white underneath. And it tastes like banana and pineapple put together. That's why they call it Deliciosa. I don't know whether this one has any fruit on it, but I've got one that's an enormous one on the other side we'll show you later. This is another Anona. This is from Africa. This is a Sonkoya. And I have never had a fruit on this, although my Anona Club friends say if you go out and pollinate the flower at midnight, bring the pollen in, and bring the pollen back out of the refrigerator at 7 or 8 in the morning and pollinate the same flower, you'll get fruit. We haven't been successful with that yet. I like to fool around and experiment with things too, you know, so new things are always interesting. And this is another one, another rare tropical tree.
What's that?
That is, well, I got another one over here. I'll show you when we get around to it.
Okay.
Here's our banana grove. This is our banana grove, and we've got, you know, heads of bananas here and there coming out, you can see.
How many different varieties of bananas do you have?
I used to have 16. I think I've got probably something like 10 or 12 now. And some I got from the Rare Fruit Council, and others we just picked up along the way from different
Are you
people.
good identifying bananas if somebody brings you one to taste?
Somewhat. You can identify them by the size and the shape and the size of the tree. For instance, this one over here is the biggest banana in the world. It's called this one is dwarf namwa, which is an Asian banana. Similar trees could also be called the blue Java or ice cream banana, which is very similar, a tall banana like that with an intermediate sized fruit. And they got kind of a bluish tint to them until they ripen. And this one is an interesting tree. You can see how big the fruit is if you come through here. This one is called the Saba, and it's the biggest banana in the world.
You raised the banana is the biggest?
No,
or
the tree is the biggest.
The tree.
You can see by the size of the trunk. And this is not a really big Saba. This is an intermediate size. But some of them in an ideal climate in Africa get enormous.
How do they taste?
They're quite good. When my grandchildren were down in Christmas, we had one that was ripening, and we cut it down, and all the kids were eating it right off the tree.
Do these bananas get any water?
No extra water. No, what we do is, you can see, bananas love to be mulched in their own debris. So what I do is come out here as much as I can. Now I have help. My son and some other people will come out and help prune down things and pile it up. That way you have a thick layer of mulch. So it always is kind of moist enough in there that they do pretty well.
Wow, you got a big banana grove here. Okay.
Okay, we go back this way.
It's called jungle gardening. You bring your machete with you.
This one is breadfruit. Oh, excuse me, not breadfruit. This
Jackfruit.
jackfruit.
Wow, look how big. What variety is that?
It's a seedling.
Seedling. Sometimes we grow from seed. When there's a good possibility we'll get good fruit.
Is that one tree or two trees?
That's one tree coming out of 2-3 places.
Wow.
It was given to us, and so whoever had.
And how would you rate that seedling? Pretty good?
It's good as far as jackfruits are concerned. I'm not a great jackfruit fan. There are types of that family of trees that I like, but jackfruit is not one of my favorites, but some people love them.
How does this seedling fruit? Pretty well?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yes.
Jackfruit's one of those things that if it's warm, it fruits.
Now, on a jackfruit, if it's a male flower, I know they fall off. But what is there an issue if it's a female flower and they start falling off? Is that the nutrition deficiency, a pollen issue, or?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
Don't know much about jackfruit
Yeah,
except.
it's not one of our. This is a tamarind that we happened to plant, but it was going into the pool area, so it got whacked quite a bit. This is a loquat, which is a really wonderful.
Well, we can't hear you unless
Oh,
you.
sorry. This is a loquat, and there's a fruit right there.
Okay, that's loquat.
What I like about it is it does have a pretty leaf, and it keeps its symmetry. You know, it's a very symmetrical growing tree. Nice fruit. That's a mulberry. That's a chance seedling in front of the pond there.
We'll show you a real mulberry over here.
We'll show you the specimen tree we've got of a mulberry. Avocado.
This one's a West Indian.
I could hand this to. Well, I need to talk too, so
Okay. All right.
Okay, so this is an avocado. What kind of avocado is this here?
West Indian, the green types,
Don't
one
know
of the
the
green
cultivar.
ones.
Don't know the cultivar. Okay.
Our son gave this to us many years ago.
Okay.
And it's a elongated, quite delicious fruit. We're going to have a heavy crop this year, as you can see, just looking up there at the small fruit that have already taken.
Do you know when's it in season?
I would say about August it'll start producing, and then it'll produce for a while.
Wonderful. Okay.
That's a Julie mango ahead of us there.
Wow,
Yeah.
Julie mango. How does that one do for you?
The squirrels mostly get it.
Does it fruit well, the Julie?
It
here?
does.
Oh yes, it's very, very fruitful.
It's not known to do well out here.
This one
Well,
has been very healthy.
Well, how old is this tree?
oh, it's quite old. It's 30 years, more than 30 years old.
Now, Julie's considered a dwarf tree. Have you ever
Yes.
trimmed this back at all?
No,
Wow,
not really. And it's
big.
supposed to be a dwarf mango, but as you can see,
Yeah.
it's not dwarfing so much.
Yeah. All right, got Julie.
And this is our mulberry. It's a regular good old mulberry.
Wow, that's a big mulberry tree.
Yeah.
Get ready to give us lots of fruit.
Yeah, we fight off all the critters when this thing is fruiting. As you can imagine the amount of fruit that's hanging. Black
Wow.
mulberries when they're ripe.
This trellis is for vegetables. What's hanging up there are winged beans, what's left of last year's crop, and it will, grow again.
A beautiful
Starting out.
garden. Wow, look at that.
Wing bean. This is an old dried one, but wing beans are quite delicious when they're young and small.
It's a tropical vegetable, Papua New Guinea.
And you get a lot of wing beans when, as you can see, when they're fruiting, when they're getting their fruit, you've got plenty to eat.
The other trellis across the vegetable garden also had winged beans and blue butterfly peas growing last year.
And you being a master gardener, here you are growing all these. I see kale, cabbage, flowers,
Nasturtiums.
nasturtiums.
Some
They're edible
zinnias.
flowers.
Mhm. A tomato that we've got to pull. We're transitioning now from the cool season vegetables to warm season. So we'll be able to have kale and cabbage and collards for another month or two, and celery will probably hang in there too. But the beautiful Romanesco cauliflower we've grown, and the different colored cauliflowers and broccoli, now they're pretty much at the end of their growing period. So we'll transition to tropical vegetables like jicama. We've grown sweet potato in here, black-eyed peas, and but in the summer months, jicama is our main crop. It's
Okay.
a wonderful crop.
Wow, okay.
Well, before we go in the garden, you want to do some of the
Yeah.
fruit trees here? You have to understand this is a winter time, so a lot of these things aren't fruiting yet, but this
Sure.
is a Barbados cherry,
Okay.
highest known vitamin C content in the world. They'll fruit all summer long too. If it's wet, they fruit. And this is one of 6 soursops, Anona muricata.
How much fruit was on that tree last
We
year?
had almost 40 fruit last year on this
Wow.
tree. And
Wow.
big fruit too.
Have you cut this tree back?
Uh-huh. Yes. we prune it because, as you know, it was coming way out here and so forth.
Now with Salep, there are two stories. One of them is that the leaves are great for cancer,
Yeah.
and the fruit's healthy. But they do say that the skin and the leaves and even the fruit have a neurotoxin in it. Have you heard that?
Yes. Our Anona expert, a friend of mine, Harmadim, talks about that. They are very healthy for you, and the pulp supposedly is anti-cancer. But the seeds, you don't want to get the seeds. You don't want to grind up the seeds when you're grinding up the pulp, because the seeds do have a neurotoxin, especially. But the leaves now, a lot of people use it for tea. So I don't know. We never have used it for tea, but we do have friends who have from the tropics.
Okay.
There was a large lychee here, and we took it down because of the mite.
Okay.
Lychee mite.
So there was a large lychee. Now this is an Annona.
How did
I
it
knew
feel
Anona
taking that
area.
down? Did it hurt you to take it down?
Oh, yeah, because we've had some incredible lychee
Well, look at the size
harvests.
of the stump.
Yeah.
How many different lychees
Wow.
did we have? And we used to have like a festival here to
Yeah.
Wow.
get people to help us pick them all. But it's
And that was one of the smaller trees. We got a bigger one over there. We'll show you in a little
There's a
bit.
seedling left over from
Wow.
the tree when the tree was here. But tell them about the Annonas you have in here, Ira.
Yeah. Well, these are all Atamoyas, which are a crossbreed between Cherimoya and sugar apple. And there are different types, all different types in here. And these are Anona reticulata Cherimoya. This is a cross, and it is they call it the Cherilata, half lata, which is sugar apple, and not sugar apple.
Cherimoya.
Yeah. So you got a cross here, and this is a new thing. It's only what would you say? You know a little bit about it.
Yeah.
Only been around about 5 or 8
Yeah.
years, something like that. But
Very
we have
good.
this one and this one. So we're going to have our little new Anona Grove here checking out things, and everything around the edge are Atamoya, and this is our big Lisa here. This is a big Atamoya.
Do you have to hand pollinate it or no?
What?
Do you need to hand pollinate it or no?
No, never.
Okay.
The more Anonas you have, the less need for hand pollination, because
Okay.
the bugs and the Nona beetles and the flies and the gnats will all do their job.
Tell them about this. This is a special.
Yeah, and this, I planted this up here because I wanted to take special care of it. This is a research station banana from Puerto Rico, the research station. This was going to replace, they had hoped that this would replace the grocery store banana, which was having trouble, the Grand Nain. But they never made it because, and the reason, from what I gather, is that the bracts where the bananas form was weak. So they didn't hold the banana as they should have when it ripened. So the stores, they thought it wasn't practical for the stores, but the taste is wonderful. So for somebody like us, it's a great thing.
And we can see them fall off.
What's the name of the banana?
Doesn't have
a name. It's a research station banana.
Wow.
And this one also, this banana over here is kind of special too.
Yeah, this is a Hawaiian banana. This is called Popo'ulu. And we got our first bunch on this last year. It's kind of an interesting banana. It has a dark core.
Very large and round.
Yeah. A lot of these different types of bananas have different shapes in the grocery store. People look at banana and think that's the banana, but bananas are a wide range of. And fortunately for commercial growers in the tropics, with a lot of cross pollination, with a lot of different availability of different types of bananas, you can always find some way to get ahead of the bugs and keep it going, you know.
There's an everbearing mulberry there that's an understory fruit. It gives us a lot of fruit as well. This is a tropical vegetable. I love tropical vegetables.
We can't hear you if you're going to be over there. Okay.
Come on, Ira. We'll stay together.
Okay.
Tropical vegetables are neat to learn about because as the weather.
So what's that?
This is called waterleaf.
Waterleaf spinach.
Yeah, as it gets warmer, then your tropical vegetables will grow for a long period of time during the warm season, hot season.
Quite full of nutrition.
You have to cook it though.
You have to cook it. What happens if you don't cook it?
There's oxalic acid in there. It can be, it can be, but it grows really well here. It kind of volunteers.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to just keep going to the trees.
Yeah, we'll do the trees. We got some good views of the garden.
Another Barbados cherry.
You like Barbados cherries?
Well, if you want your vitamin C fresh with the enzymes, it'll go help you out with the live fruit, live enzymes, then yes, it's better than taking a pill. And this is another Anona, just setting fruit. Here's one, just set. This is called Anona Deliciosa, the Bariba.
Rollinia is another.
Rollinia is another name for it.
Oh, okay. So you got a Rollinia tree. And how does it grow here? Does it need pollination? Or?
No, it doesn't need anything. I've cut 2 or 3 Rollinias down. They fruited, and the best one I ever had died in a freeze way back. The master grower Harmadim. I got the tree from him, and it was a beautiful big fruit. But this one, now before we go to the other Anonas, this is the Emperor Lychee.
So you cut that back big time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very.
It's still blooming, so we'll see. But we don't expect a whole lot of fruit this year. Maybe by next year we'll have some.
Beautiful lychee, very large, juicy lychee with a great taste.
Yeah.
That's a sweetheart.
That's a sweetheart lychee, which we pruned back also.
Back here.
Oh, there's another Bariba. This is a white sapote.
How old is that white sapote?
That's about 10 years old.
10 years old. What variety?
Smathers.
Smathers.
Smathers woolly leaf.
And what do you think of this variety?
Well, it's good. The skin is bitter, but the fruit pulp is good.
Is it self-pollinating?
Oh yeah, we don't bother them.
What's the season for this variety?
Mid-year.
Mid-year.
July, August, September.
And how often do you trim this tree?
Well, I think basically after it fruits and whenever it needs it. If I see a limb hanging off, then if it's getting in the way of something else, then we prune it. Now here's a very rare tree. This is called the whole Florida sand pear. That very few people know about.
Nice tasting fruit.
It's a nice fruit, except it's gritty.
Pretty.
But it does have a good pear taste.
There's a pecan, that tall tree without leaves. That's a pecan tree.
Okay. So why don't people know about this tree?
The sand pear?
Yeah.
Well, it's just not widely used, and it's susceptible to fire leaf, that basically defoliates it, was what's happening to it now. But it seems to come back every year and produce some fruit, so we're leaving it be.
Okay.
And of course, pineapples.
Yeah.
I used to be a big pineapple grower, but trying to keep them weeded.
The Annonas in here.
Yeah, this is what I was telling you about, Paula. This is the Mexican Garcinia. It's a very close relative of Garcinia intermedia, which is the lemon drop mangosteen, which we'll show you in a minute.
I'll show you our lemon drop.
Which is the kid's favorite. Have you ever tasted a lemon drop? They're delicious.
Tell them about the lemon drop mangosteen as far as how you, because we started growing it before it really was known.
Yeah, we were one of the first people to introduce this lemon drops because an old friend of mine at Lychee Tree Nursery in Stewart, his father brought back some seed from Southeast Asia. Didn't know what they were, but loved the taste of the fruit and planted them. This was 50 years ago. And so he gave me some seed and I planted them. And now I've got a whole driveway full of. And these things are, they're very, you got to watch out because they'll root and they'll spread out before you know it. You got the 50 trees if you're not careful. And they're very firmly rooted. They're hard to pull out of the ground. But this one is a little different, so I've been told. So we'll see what happens. We're experimenting with it. And this whole mulched area here was a custard apple experiment station, I guess you could call it. We took about 10 to 12, 13 different seedlings of custard apple, planted them all out to see if we could get one
reticulata
that would be superior to the others. And we did. Number 7 was the one that was the best.
You can see some fruit.
Oh wow! So is it a red one?
It's a reticulata. It's a pink custard apple.
It's got a ways to go yet, but it's getting there.
Wow. Yeah, Ruth was telling me she has one that's ripe now.
That's from this. That was from number 7.
Yeah, she grafted it from number 7.
We numbered them. There were 8 of them.
And how were the other ones? So-so or no good?
So 7 was the one that she
Number
decided.
7 had no grit.
Yeah.
It was a little sweeter with no gritty sandiness to it.
And that slight perfume that you get. With
How does it compare with the, what is it, the San Pablo?
I have never tasted a San Pablo, so I don't know. But I don't imagine there's that much difference. But it could be. This is another. There's another Canistell. This is El Trompo.
Okay.
We got a little ways to go yet.
the Grumachama over there.
Grumachama by the garbage cans, yeah.
Okay.
These are all, you're looking at, all these are all custard apples. Same with these over here. If you look in there, you'll see more of them. They could be better taken care of, but custard apples love the Florida flatwoods, the acidic Florida flatwoods, pine flatwoods. They just love that environment. There's nothing you need to do to them at all. They grow wild.
You plant them pretty close too, huh?
Oh yeah, well, this whole area was planted out to see what we get.
So these are the trees that are pruned after they fruit every year.
Right, yeah, we pruned them down. And here's our...
It's a monstera going up a pine tree.
Our Monstera Tower.
So they love going up the pine trees, huh?
Yeah, this one was we had to take down.
Yeah, and...
will they harm the tree or kill the tree?
Well, it'd take an awful long time. They don't.
They don't seem to, because they are on ones that are...
They don't live off the tree. You can see what they do. They send their roots down.
Now, do those fruits have to be picked, or they'll ripen on the tree? And
they'll ripen
fall?
on their own.
If they grow up there, you're not getting them, huh?
No, they'll fall down.
Yeah.
And these are more soursops, more guanabana.
Watch your step there. We got an armadillo.
Oh yeah, we have an armadillo friend that's dug a hole for us. So these are all more reticulatas. So we have a sort of a Anona jungle.
This is the lemon drop mangosteen. It
Oh, wow.
got kind of out of hand, so it had to get trimmed. But it's very prolific.
Yeah, it's just starting its season now, and if it stays warm and hot and rainy, they will produce and produce and produce.
It's several times a year.
This is an advantage that we have in the flatwoods that we don't have close to the beach. You know, I grew up on Singer Island, and it was all rocky soil and alkaline beach stuff, and so there's some things you just can't grow there. You can't grow lychees, and there's a number of things that love that acid that out here they were produced. My friends at the Rare Fruit Council said, "You'll never grow anything up there because it's too cold." Well, that was 40 years ago. Now it's the exact opposite. Now I have the best sand, I have the best soil that they wish they had, but it doesn't get cold anymore. So
Yeah.
That's an Arkin carambola. One of our first trees that we planted close to the house. As you can see, we thought we were protecting them back in the 1980s from the cold. It's a good variety.
this is a little Anona Sapote. It has a small fruit, but quite delicious.
How old is that tree?
Well, it's about 3 or 4 years old, so it will get quite a bit bigger.
All right.
It's one of those trees that likes alkaline soil, though. So it might not be in its most ideal place here, but you could put some fertilizer on it to equalize the pH.
All right, thank you.
Sapoteas like alkaline soil.
All right, everybody, there it was. I told you that was amazing. And when you got experience for this long-grown fruit trees and gardens, it's great that I got to get them on here to share that information with you. Post any comments or questions below, but I'm definitely going to come back here during the summer to try to taste some of these amazing foods. And I'm just loving videos like this. And thank you for watching, everybody. Thank you to Ira and Paula for having us come on out.
You're welcome.
All right, I'm going to put that contact information below if you want to get in touch with them. Paula has great information about the Master Gardener Club, and Ira is just a wealth of knowledge, so all that be below. Until then, everybody, thank you for watching. Thank you for having us come on out.
That's quite all right.
Anything else you want to share?
No, just
Keep growing.
stay busy and stay interested.
All right. All right, everybody, have a great day and keep growing.